Autism Spectrum Disorder, ASD, represents a complex neurodevelopmental condition characterized by persistent challenges in social communication and interaction, alongside restricted and repetitive patterns of behavior, interests, or activities. The term spectrum aptly reflects the extraordinary diversity in how autism manifests, ranging from individuals requiring substantial support in daily functioning to those who navigate life independently with subtle differences in social understanding. This heterogeneity extends across multiple dimensions, including cognitive abilities, language development, sensory sensitivities, and adaptive functioning. Current prevalence estimates suggest that approximately 1 in 36 children is diagnosed with autism, with males historically identified at higher rates than females, though growing evidence indicates that autism may be significantly underdiagnosed in girls and women due to gender-based differences in presentation and societal expectations. The neurobiological underpinnings of autism involve atypical brain development beginning during prenatal periods, with research identifying differences in neural connectivity, brain structure, and neurotransmitter systems. Neuroimaging studies have revealed patterns of altered connectivity between brain regions, particularly affecting networks involved in social cognition, language processing, and executive function. At the cellular level, differences in synaptic function and excitatory-inhibitory balance contribute to unique information processing styles. The etiology of autism involves complex genetic factors, with hundreds of gene variants identified that influence neuronal development and synaptic function, often interacting with environmental factors during critical developmental periods. While previously considered separate conditions, Asperger's syndrome, pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, PDD-NOS, and autistic disorder are now unified under the single diagnostic category of autism spectrum disorder in recognition of their shared fundamental features. Social communication differences represent a core characteristic of autism and may manifest in various ways across development. Young children might demonstrate reduced social attention, limited joint attention, sharing focus with others on objects or events, delayed language development, and difficulties with nonverbal communication such as gestures and facial expressions. School-age children often struggle with the unwritten rules of social interaction, pragmatic language, the social use of language, perspective-taking, and understanding abstract concepts including humor and figurative language. Adolescents and adults may experience challenges in developing and maintaining relationships, navigating complex social dynamics in educational and workplace settings, and understanding subtle social cues. Importantly, these differences do not indicate a lack of interest in social connection. Many autistic individuals deeply desire meaningful relationships, but may approach social interaction in ways that diverge from typical expectations. The restricted and repetitive behavioral patterns associated with autism encompass several dimensions, including stereotyped movements, such as hand flapping or rocking, adherence to routines, highly focused interests, and sensory sensitivities. Insistence on sameness often manifests as distress with changes in routine or environment, while ritualized patterns may provide predictability and comfort in a world that can feel chaotic and overwhelming. Special interests frequently develop extraordinary depth, sometimes evolving into areas of expertise that can lead to educational and career opportunities. Sensory processing differences are increasingly recognized as a central feature of autism, with many individuals experiencing heightened sensitivity, hyperreactivity, or reduced sensitivity, hyporeactivity, to sensory input across multiple modalities including sound, light, touch, taste, and smell. These sensory experiences significantly impact daily functioning and emotional regulation, particularly in environments with unpredictable or intense sensory stimulation. Early identification and intervention represent critical factors in supporting optimal development for autistic individuals. Research consistently demonstrates that interventions initiated during early developmental periods, when neuroplasticity is maximized, yield more substantial benefits. Screening typically begins with surveillance during routine pediatric visits and standardized screening tools at specified age intervals, with comprehensive diagnostic evaluation involving multidisciplinary assessment of developmental history, current functioning across domains, and structured observation. Evidence-based interventions for young children include naturalistic developmental behavioral interventions that embed learning opportunities within meaningful social contexts, parent-mediated approaches that build caregiver capacity to support development during everyday routines, and structured teaching methods that address specific skill development. The focus has increasingly shifted toward intervention models that respect autistic neurology while supporting communication, emotional regulation, and adaptive skill. Educational approaches for autistic students have evolved significantly, moving from segregated settings toward more inclusive models that maintain access to both specialized support and typical peer interaction. Effective educational practices incorporate visual supports to enhance comprehension and predictability, structured teaching methods that clarify expectations and learning processes, opportunities for special interest incorporation to increase engagement, and environmental modifications addressing sensory needs. Social learning may be supported through explicit instruction in social understanding, structured social opportunities with appropriate scaffolding, and peer-mediated interventions that engage typical peers as social partners. As students progress through educational systems, increasing emphasis is placed on self-advocacy skills, executive functioning support, and transition planning for post-secondary environments. Adulthood presents both unique challenges and opportunities for autistic individuals, with outcomes significantly influenced by available supports and accommodations. Employment represents a particularly important domain, with research indicating that autistic adults experience disproportionately high rates of unemployment and underemployment despite many possessing valuable skills and qualifications. Successful employment models include specialized job matching that aligns positions with individual strengths and interests, workplace accommodations addressing specific needs, and ongoing support for both employees and employers. Independent living may require varying levels of support ranging from minimal assistance with executive functioning challenges to comprehensive residential services. Social connection remains important throughout adulthood, with many autistic individuals finding meaningful relationships through shared interests, online communities, and neurodiversity-affirming social groups. The co-occurring conditions frequently experienced alongside autism significantly impact quality of life and require thoughtful integration into support planning. Anxiety disorders affect approximately 40 to 60% of autistic individuals, often manifesting as specific phobias, social anxiety, or generalized worry exacerbated by unpredictability and sensory overload. Attention deficit/hyperactivity disorder commonly co-occurs, contributing additional challenges in attention regulation, impulse control, and activity level. Intellectual disability affects approximately one-third of autistic individuals, though this proportion has declined with improved recognition of autism across cognitive profiles. Sleep disturbances, gastrointestinal issues, seizure disorders, and mood disorders occur at elevated rates, necessitating comprehensive healthcare approaches. Treatment approaches for co-occurring conditions must be adapted to accommodate autistic learning and communication styles while addressing potential interactions between interventions. The neurodiversity movement has profoundly influenced contemporary understanding of autism, challenging deficit-focused models and promoting acceptance of neurological differences as natural variations in human diversity rather than conditions requiring normalization. This perspective emphasizes the unique cognitive strengths frequently associated with autism, including exceptional pattern recognition, detailed observation, logical analysis, specialized knowledge development, and creative problem-solving approaches. Neurodiversity advocates have highlighted how environments designed exclusively for neurotypical individuals create unnecessary barriers, advocating instead for accommodations and universal design principles that support diverse neurological profiles. This paradigm shift has contributed to growing emphasis on quality of life, subjective well-being, and autistic identity development as meaningful outcomes beyond traditional measures focused primarily on symptom reduction. Family systems play a crucial role in supporting autistic individuals while simultaneously requiring support themselves to manage unique challenges and celebrate distinctive strengths. Parents often become experts in their child's specific needs, advocating across educational, healthcare, and community settings while implementing specialized strategies within home environments. Siblings develop their own understanding of autism, typically demonstrating enhanced empathy and acceptance of differences when provided appropriate support and information. Extended family members and friends contribute to support networks that sustain caregivers through periods of heightened stress. Family-centered intervention approaches recognize this ecological perspective, offering parent education, emotional support, connection to resources, and strategies for engaging extended family systems in creating accepting and accommodating environments. The future landscape for autism research and practice holds tremendous promise for enhanced understanding and support. Advances in genetic and neurobiological research continue to illuminate the diverse pathways leading to autism, potentially informing more personalized intervention approaches. Digital technologies offer innovative tools for assessment, skill development, and communication support, while telehealth models expand access to specialized services across geographical barriers. Growing recognition of gender differences in autism presentation is improving identification for girls and women historically missed by diagnostic systems calibrated primarily to male presentations. Perhaps most significantly, increasing leadership from autistic self-advocates is reshaping research priorities, intervention approaches, and societal perspectives, moving toward a future where autism is understood not primarily as a disorder to be treated, but as a valuable form of human diversity deserving acceptance, accommodation, and celebration of its unique contributions to human experience.